good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you're doing. By the way, this is your antisocial coming live, sort of, from beautiful war-torn Vancouver, Washington, which is directly over the bridge from war-torn Portland, Oregon. And as you can see, we are hiding in our military barracks where nobody can find us. We are all rebels here. Today, as you all know, is Halloweenish time. And because it's Halloweenish time, we brought to you somebody who's not only a superstar in the field of horror, but a personal hero of mine as an FX animator, Mr. Joe Castro. Joe Castro, welcome to the show.
Hi, Antisocial. How you doing?
I'm Wicked Pissa. How are you?
I'm doing good today. Thank you for asking. Thank you for having me on the show. And I want to take a minute just to say thank you for all that you do and people like you do to bring the artists to the to the world, to give us a platform to speak. And thank you for taking interest in all the spooky things that we do today.
I am honored. My very first goal in life was when I finally figured out what a goal was at the tender age of 8. Was I saw some horror movies. One of them was with Vincent Price, Let's Kill Uncle, and I thought that was the coolest movie ever because there was practical effects that I hadn't seen before. One of them was that guy who had been wounded in the Korean War, and they used him as a half man
Yeah.
strolling through this movie. And I thought,
Yeah.
this is what I want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Not chop off my legs, but the other part.
Yeah. 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 No, yeah,
Oh,
no, yeah.
how were you when you were you a little kid that just went, "Ooh, blood is nice"? I mean, how did it start for you?
Well, that's a great question. Well, it started for me when I was 7 years old. My father, who was my biggest cheerleader at the time, he knew what I liked. I liked, like all little boys at that age, I liked dinosaurs and dragons. And so, do you remember the movie? Did you ever see Pete's Dragon, the Disney
Oh, of
movie Pete's Dragon?
course,
So,
sure.
and that was like one of my, my all-time favorite films at the time. But I had never watched the movie by myself. Always been like with go out with the rest of the kids, just kind of. So my dad said, "Son, sit down and watch this. You're gonna love it." It was a
Cool.
Saturday
Good
afternoon.
dad.
Yeah, yeah, and it was like all by myself. There was no one in the house. It was just me and the TV, and it was Godzilla versus the Smog Monster. And that's different than like a Disney film because it
No,
has like
kaiju is
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, it's totally different. It has, it had like makeup effects in it because people got like burned by acid. It had, of course, Godzilla monsters in suits. It had explosions. It had rotoscoping, the Godzilla's breath, and it had buildings blowing up. So it had like every aspect of a special effect in that film.
Oh,
And when
beautiful.
the movie was over, I said, "Dad, how do they do that?" And we watched the credits roll together. And he said, "Look, son, see where it says special effects? That's how they do it." And I said, "That's what I want to do, Dad, when I grow up."
Aw, your dad is awesome.
Yeah,
That's very cool.
yeah,
My dad wanted me to, be a nurse, be a teacher, just do anything to get out of the house.
yeah.
Um, did you make little films like with an 8 millimeter? Because I'm probably a little older than you, but because we used to have, the eight
Yeah.
millimeters you'd have to wind up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When from that moment on, I already, since I knew what I wanted to do, I kind of started moving towards learning how to get into the field of special effects and filmmaking. Anything I could do. Of course, there was like genre rags like magazines like Fangoria and Famous Monsters of Filmland that I would
Yes.
read about other people making films and me and my idols making movies. And then there was a little magazine called Cinemagic, and it was a fan-based magazine made by fans that
Nice.
made micro budget shot on film movies. And if you got a subscription, you could put like a little art like a little paragraph in the back of the magazine.
Was it done
Once
with
a year.
Xerox or was it done as a real magazine?
No, it's a real magazine. It was a real
Oh, okay,
magazine.
cool. Because
It was
I've
a real
seen the
magazine.
Xerox ones that are
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, yeah. And so you could write whatever you wanted there. I'm like, "Hi, my name is Joey Castro, and I live in Helotes, Texas, and this is my phone number, and this is my address. Call me or write me and send me pictures of your work." And I would literally have pen pals from all over the United States of other young people that wanted to make movies, and we would
You were networking.
Yeah, we were never, and we would literally like take pictures like on film and put them in an envelope with like a handwritten letter of what we did, and we would mail it to each other. And we'd open up and read it, and
Oh,
then we'd call each other on weekends when the rates were cheap, right, and talk on the phone. And
yes.
people like Tom Savani, I don't know if you know who Tom
Tom
Savani is.
Savini in North
Yeah,
Carolina
yeah,
doing his
yeah,
Apex crew. It
yeah.
is also his school. Yeah.
That's
No,
Tom
I never
Savini.
heard of him.
Tom Savini. He would literally talk to me on the phone when I was 12 years old. I could pick up the phone and call him because his phone number was listed in the white pages.
Oh, damn
So
it.
you
Oh,
so
yeah. For
so
those
you
who don't know, the White
yeah
Pages were a big ass book that had
yeah
everybody's phone numbers. So you could
yeah
stalk your favorite celebrities.
that's right. And yeah, so you all you had to do was know the area code of the city where they lived in, and
Yeah.
you call 411, right? 411, and then
Information.
yeah, the information, and give them the yeah, the 411 of that city, and then you call the operator, and they would give you their number, and then you say, "Hi, my name is Joey Castro. May I speak to Tom Savini?" And he'd say, "This is Tom," and I'd say, "Hi, I'm a fan of yours." Anyways, to answer your question, I didn't start shooting stuff until I was 12 years old when my parents bought me the first video camera that came out on the home video market.
Was it one of these monster things?
It wasn't too big. It wasn't real big, but it was, it was a portable one, and it had a
Uh,
portable pack, and it had a battery that you could charge, and it was $2,200.
I was gonna say your mom and dad must have been in a good business because those were
Well,
stupid expensive
yeah,
back then.
yeah, it was $2,200. My mother was a school teacher. My father was a telephone salesman for a drafting. So they put when they bought the camera, because I begged them for it, just begging, it's all I want, it's all I want, and they bought it for
I'll
me.
never ask
And
for anything
yeah,
again.
yeah, and they said, "Here's your college education." That's what they said. They handed, "Merry Christmas. Here's your college education," and that's what I got for Christmas, and when I was 12 years old.
What great
And
parents. That's so
yeah,
cool.
I know. Yeah, it was definitely, the older you get, the more you realize how great you had it. You know what I mean? You kind of like,
Yeah.
oh, I had a lot of stuff.
I still miss government cheese.
Government.
There's small things in life.
Yeah. You
You
know,
realize what you went through in life and you realize I thought you had everything. No, you were living on government cheese.
we were always taken care of. We always had, what we needed. And I can't say it was all rainbows and sunshine. I grew up in South Texas in the
I was
like
gonna say you were in
70s.
Texas, so
Since in South Texas in the 70s and 80s, and it was, I'm an openly gay man. I'm an openly gay male, and it was rough growing up in the
oh you
70s
put
and
oh my God, that must
in
have been
South Texas.
horrible.
It
But your
was
parents
I
who loved you
survived
to
it.
death.
My father loved me to death. I can't say the same for everybody else in my family, but I don't actually really. I haven't talked to my mother in 17 years, 19 years,
I
something like that.
adopt you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, I have plenty of adopted moms now.
Cool.
But I wouldn't change anything from the past because it obviously has made me the man I am today, which I'm very proud of. But yeah, no, I had all my needs met, and I was able to shoot film. But I remember like taking out the video camera and trying to shoot my parents dancing in the living room. And my mother was a school teacher, so super critical. We
Oh
played the
no.
tape back. We played the tape back for her to watch what I had done. She's like, "Zoom out, back up. What are you doing?" I'm like,
She's trying to direct you.
"It was the very first thing." I was like, "Yeah," you know. And but anyways, yeah. So but I grew up making home movies with my friends in the on the. I grew up on a 44 acre, 55 acre, about 40. One piece of property had 44 acres, the other had 10, so it was about 55 acres
Huge.
of property,
Wow.
a goat ranch, and in Texas, and would run all over the property making movies with my friends, and
Did you take your
I'm
GI Joes with kung fu grip and walk them through the sand and stuff?
I would make special effects props using the information I got from my pen pals. We would exchange information, and also the magazine that we would write into. You could literally write like a little like one-page article about how you made a something, and they would print it so other people could read it and how you did it.
Oh, that's
And
so cool.
yeah, and they would have like step-by-step instructions of how to make a rubber mask. In fact, it's called Cinemagic, and it's issue number 6. And
Wow.
it's like a famous magazine for anybody who's a special effects artist in the industry that's my age. Everybody had it. It taught everybody how to make a rubber mask. And, like today when people come to me and they're like, my daughter wants to be a special effects artist, I'm like, where did they begin? I'm like, have them Google Cinemagic issue number 6. If they can make a rubber mask,
Yeah.
have them take a picture of it, send it back to me, and we can talk. I
You
want to see
see,
how.
see if their
Oh,
skills are up to snuff. Yeah,
yeah.
you see if
Well,
they're
just like
dedicated.
I want to see if you're. Yeah. I mean, I was 12 years old when I made my first rubber mask.
That's so cool.
You got someone
What
who's
was your
like,
first one up? Do you remember?
yes, I remember. It was a this might be very unsettling for a lot of your viewers.
This
I
is a
w
horror. This is a horror-ish show. We're fine.
It was the severed head of a goat. And it had demon horns because my uncle wanted me to make a movie called Slaughterhouse GD, the goat deviate from hell. And I grew up on a a goat ranch with a slaughterhouse, so I had access to everything I needed there. And
It's
it
so
was kind of a
amazing.
traumatizing experience, to be honest with you, in some
Oh
ways.
my
I
goodness.
won't go into detail how why it was
You're friends with
traumatizing.
Barney. Hi,
Yeah,
Barney. Good Barney.
exactly.
Yeah,
And
we had a
you
friend
know.
who had pigs, and it was the same thing.
Yeah,
Oh, look at Luigi's here. Oh, Luigi. Oh,
yeah,
Luigi.
yeah. So there was a lot of, I saw and participated in a lot of things that probably a 10 or 12-year-old should never see or participate in as a child in South Texas in the
Well,
70s and early
and
80s. Yeah.
starting with being in South Texas first. So,
So, I mean, it was a beautiful piece of property. I mean, I had a lot access to so many amazing things, but you know, with that, what the good comes with extreme beauty comes with extreme
I was gonna say, did you get
darkness.
dust storms and all that
Not
crap too?
not really dust storm, but there was a lot of pain along with the bliss.
Oh, I'm so
It's very
sorry.
very traumatizing.
Plus,
So
you had you're growing up in a very Christian fundamental kind of
yeah,
property.
absolutely, yeah. In fact, I was talking to my husband, and no offense to my grandparents, but my grandmother, I went, like we grew up in in a place where literally, and I'm not this is not figuratively, where my grandmother and my grandfather slept together to conceive my mother, and then they never slept together again. They moved to separate bedrooms.
That's yeah,
Because I asked my grandmother one time, I said, Grandma, why do you and Grandpa sleep in separate bedrooms? And she said, well, we used to sleep together until we conceived your mother, and then we moved into different bedrooms.
we're like, time out. This isn't for us. Yeah.
And I was like, I said, okay, all right.
Did your grandpa have a special friend named Robert?
No,
Just,
no. My grandfather was an amazing man.
yeah,
And both my grandparents were amazing people, but it was just a different time and a different world. And my God, I mean,
yeah. At least today,
they didn't get out of that bubble. There's that bubble in there. It's like they never went to New York City. I mean, they never went
Dallas.
they never went to Disneyland.
Oh man,
They never went to Disneyland.
wow.
My grandmother never even came to visit me in California. She never had a chance to do that. She never went to Universal Studios. Never went to
Okay, that's a big loss, especially
and then
you effects person. Just the Jaws
I'm
ride
just saying,
alone.
they were like, they were basically they started this amazing family there in South Texas, and they never were able to really leave that little bubble there. So they only had the tools that they had, and
Yeah.
yeah.
And they probably thought they were doing the best they could with what they
Yeah.
got. So
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
yeah. No, no. They have a huge legacy there. All the property's still there. And they have family there still. They have everything that it's all, and it
But
will
what
be
an
there.
amazing base that you had that you could actually say, okay, I've got all this property, I'm doing this stuff, I'm a kid, I'm networking, I'm being myself. That's pretty profound for
Yeah.
somebody only 12 years old. I mean, that's pretty cool.
It,
When you
it was cool. It was. Yeah.
I mean, despite the crap, we all have gone through
Yeah.
some,
Yeah.
I
We'll
don't
go
think I've
to,
known anybody who hasn't gone through something.
it's true. No, it's true. Especially from our age, our era and our age. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was born 64, so
Okay. So you understand completely
yeah,
what I'm talking about. Yeah.
totally get it. So the day I was born, and I keep saying this, was the minute I popped out, Mom, hi, that's your VJJ. I was born the minute they signed the Civil War Act of 1964.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's when I appeared, and I swear that that Civil War Act and I have been fighting the fight ever since. So so you're out there, you're 12 years old. When you hit high school, is that when you start, were you reaching out to film companies as a kid? Or were you reaching out to colleges? Or what did you decide you should do with this?
Yeah.
Because it was
So,
obviously a love.
yeah. So, there are not a lot of like teenage special effects artist in South Texas at the time. And so I was kind of a little bit of a celebrity when I was a kid. I mean, San Antonio, Texas was the biggest town near us. It was about 25 minutes southeast of us.
Mhm.
And I won a national special effects contest. It was 17 and younger entered, and it was through one of the magazines that I used to read, and they had a national makeup contest, special effects contest,
Was
and
that wasn't the Fangoria one, was it?
no, well, I
Oh,
did. I did come in second place in it and won through Fangoria.
cool.
Through they did one when the movie The Reanimator was released. They did one
Oh, yes.
called the Get Ahead contest, The Reanimator, and so different people sent in their different versions. And I was one of the runners up or one of the winners there, and I got a Miss Guitar. But the one I won, Joe Dante, Joe Dante,
Yes.
the Howling and Gremlins, him and John
And
Carl
Benji.
Buechler, yeah. When it was John Carl Buechler did Friday 13 Part 7 and Troll and a whole bunch of those films. Anyways, they picked the winner, and so I was kind of a little bit of a celebrity. I won this trip to Hollywood. I was 15, and I was on the front page of the San Antonio Express newspaper. San Antonio Express is like one of the top, what is it,
That's
five
the big,
largest cities in
yeah,
the
that's
nation
like the
now.
Boston Globe of San
Yeah.
Antonio.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I was on the front page of the newspaper and this kind of thing. And I started to reach out to film companies then, people that I could we could talk to
You
in
had
in
cred now.
LA. And
You had the
yeah,
cred.
I had a little
Yeah.
bit of credit. And I mean, 15 years old, 16, companies probably aren't really ready to relinquish responsibility for the investment of a $500,000 film to a 16-year-old. Probably not the best
Although
business
there's some
decision to
16-year-olds
make.
now, I'm like, I can't even believe they're using this stuff. It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And at the time, like I said, we're working with what we got. So I really didn't get anything. I think PBS was the first thing that I worked. I worked on this PBS short, and it wasn't a short. It was kind of like some sort of introspective about aging, and they had me like make a young boy into an old man in different stages of aging.
Oh, cool.
This is when I was like 15 or 16 years old, and
And
then
you were
it
doing
was
practical effects on his face?
right, right, just kind of basic makeup effects on his face with cotton and latex and this kind of thing. What I had learned through books and magazines, and
That's
it's
so
just
cool.
yeah, yeah, and it wasn't until I turned 19 that packed everything into a vehicle. A friend of mine that I had been pen pals with said, "Hey Joe, I'm in Los Angeles now. We're starting a special effects company, and we got two movies that we're gonna do special effects for. Come on out to LA, and I'll put you to work."
See, the
So
networking really did the
yeah,
job. Oh,
yeah.
that's
See, the,
amazing.
the pen pals, right? And so me and my good friend Chris Olivia, who's still one of my good friends today, we he was also he lived in San Antonio, and we
Hi,
both
Chris.
loved special effects. So we packed everything we had into a U-Haul trailer, our two twin beds, our little dresser, our clothes. I think he brought a drafting table and a chair, and we
Sure.
drove out to Hollywood, with first and last month's rent and a deposit, and
Wishful thinking.
yeah,
Yeah.
we got there, we're gonna start working. And so
Yeah.
we pull up to this guy's apartment door, knock on the door, and hey, we're here, we're ready to start working. And he goes, "Oh, the job fell through, we don't have any work."
Ah, and way before cell phones.
Oh, we lost the jobs. We didn't get them.
Oh, the
Okay.
Hollywood dream just in your
Yeah.
face.
Yeah, yeah. It was like day one.
Yeah.
Welcome to Hollywood, baby.
Yeah.
Whenever,
Where all
whenever,
your
whenever,
dreams can come
whenever, yeah,
true.
yeah, whenever someone gives me some sob story about how they've been ripped off or something, I'm like, "Welcome to Hollywood, baby.
Yes.
Now you're really in it. Now you're really in it. Now you're really one of us. Come
You
on
have
now."
been hazed.
Yeah, a friend of mine told me that he tried to make a film with some guy, and I guess somebody had invested like 35,000 into the film, and the guy who was making the movie would decide to buy the equipment that they were going to make the film with because they were going to. It was an investment in making more films.
Sure.
So he put the money into the
Equipment
thing,
itself.
the
Yeah.
equipment itself, and he missed some payment or something, and he lost the equipment and lost all the money. And I'm like, "Welcome to Hollywood, baby."
It's the repo man.
Yes, yes, your first gig, and then it's just taken right from. Anyways, but I mean, the everything leads us to where we are right now, and it's been a great adventure.
But you know
So,
what? You cannot be a ballet dancer unless you fall flat on your face a
oh,
few times.
right,
So,
yeah, yeah, and
you
your
know,
feet look like those twisted, gnarled things,
I always said you
Exactly.
can't be Nureyev until you learn how to crawl.
Yeah.
But man, I've had those door slams. I was working Boss Films, greatest special effects house in the
Yeah,
world.
yeah, yeah.
Richard
Richard.
Edlund, the guy who
Yeah,
did, yeah,
Richard. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
my superhero, love the guy.
Go ahead. What were you gonna
No,
say?
no, no. I was gonna say, and so they decided they were gonna reach into ride films. Like that was the new big thing. I don't know if you've heard of ride films, but nobody really has.
What is Ride Films?
They would put you on a platform of chairs with
Oh yeah,
3D
yeah,
rumbles and
yeah,
haptic
yeah, yeah, yeah,
seats
yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff,
yeah, 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 yeah,
and the
yeah.
film would be around you, and that would be it. And
Yeah.
it was a great gimmick, but it was not a business plan.
No,
So,
I saw I saw the Alien Romulus in the theater, one of those 4D things
uh-huh.
where they like everything shakes, and it was too much. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, someone would close
Oh,
the door.
Sensorama,
Someone
the
closes
ones
the
that go.
door, and my seat shakes. Someone, yeah, sneezes, and my seat shakes.
Or they put the
Anyway,
fog machine out so you could
yeah,
smell the stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
We're walking through a
Uh,
graveyard. I can smell it. Yeah, I mean
but
that's the thing. So they invest all the money into that. So I ended up working for another film company that decided to move to Brazil. So
I see.
welcome to Hollywood. So, same type of thing.
I, I
Everybody's
had
got one of
I
those.
had I had a chance to meet Richard recently. One of my really good friends, Steve Gaynor, that is the
And he's in his 90s now.
Richard.
Yeah. Is he
I didn't
still
know.
around? I thought
I
he was
didn't know.
gone.
I didn't know if he was in his 90s. Didn't look like
Yeah.
he was in his. But I had met him at the cinematographer's clubhouse here in LA. A friend of mine who's a cinematographer said, "Hey, come over here. I want to show you around the clubhouse." So I went over there, and he goes, I'm gonna go introduce you to Richard." And I just like said, "Whoa, stop." Like you can't do that to me. You can't
I
do
can
that
put on
to
my big boy pants.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You can't just like surprise me like that. I had to like literally, he had to like walk me outside and take a breath first. You
Sweetest guy
can't.
in the world, too. Just the
Yeah, yeah,
sweetest guy.
yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
handed me his Academy
Oh,
Award. For
Jesus.
those who don't know, Richard Edlund's the first special effects Academy Award winner in Hollywood. He
Wow.
handed me his Academy Award. The
Star
only thing I
Wars.
could say is,
Yeah,
this sucker is heavy. Yeah, for Star Wars.
yeah.
This thing is so heavy. And he just looked at me and went, yeah, it's so heavy. And he's loving it. He's loving that I can't hold it. He's like, yeah, this is what I earned. I was so proud of him. He was awesome. He was a great guy to learn from. He had the best effects crew. He had the team was wonderful. I love them. To this day, I love them. So
He was, I was speechless. I mean, I was like, didn't know what to say around him. Okay. And then before that, I was like, can I get a picture with you? Kind of thing. Just, yeah, yeah. It was like
nicest
meeting.
guy too, huh? He probably looked
Yeah.
at you like, yeah, sorry, kid. Go
Yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
sweetest guy.
He understood. He understood.
And
He'd
people
seen
do that to you,
he'd
I'm sure now.
well, I don't know about that. Not the way I was with him, but just like
It's okay to fangirl. It's
yeah,
okay.
totally, totally fanned out, and he saw it in my eyes. Like you ever watch Bob's Burger? When the oldest daughter gets like doesn't know what to do, she goes,
Yeah.
yeah, that was me. I didn't have no idea what to do. Anyways, yeah.
You actually worked on, I mean, aside from some of the movies, you worked on one of the big movies you worked on was the little tiny one that they did with half a budget. Tarantino, was that? No, yeah. Tell me about this story.
I rarely tell this story, but it's yeah, because it's so how do you describe the story? It's so taboo. It's such a taboo story, because if you really think about it, it kind of like unplugs someone's entire career.
Ooh, didn't even think about it like that.
Say it again.
I didn't think about it like that.
you know, Basically what happened was I grew up in San Antonio, near San Antonio, where Robert Rodriguez grew up, and Robert and I were kind of like rival filmmakers in San Antonio. And when I moved out to LA, I moved out there before Robert, made his first feature, and I was out here working, and Robert reached out to me and said, "Hey Joe, I'm making this little film, and I need some special effects. I'm gonna shoot a teaser." A trailer. I'm going to shoot like a little short, like a little teaser, and then I'm going to take that to AFM and I'm going to get financing for the feature.
Uh-huh.
And I said, well, what do you need? He goes, I need like an arm that gets shot, gets shot with a shotgun, and I need like a decapitated head. I'm like, sure, I'll make you those things. And so I made them for him, and he came out to pick them up, and I said, so how much are you? What are you gonna? How much money are you gonna spend on this teaser? He goes, I'm gonna spend about $7,500 to make this teaser. And I said, $7,500. I said, you know, you could shoot an entire feature with $7,500 if you shot it on a one-to-one shooting ratio and you shot it MOS. And he said, what? And I said, yeah. So it's called mit out sound. You can just shoot it because you're going to dub it in Spanish anyways.
Right.
Just don't even worry about that. Shoot
Yeah.
it MOS. You rehearse the shot and you shoot the shot and you shoot one take. And if you mess up, don't shoot the whole take again. Just kind of like switch angles and shoot the rest of it.
Yeah,
And
because they can cut it with
right,
the thing and they're
right.
not going to worry about matching mouths
But
or
right,
anything.
yeah, because for $3,500 you can get 90 minutes worth of 16 millimeter film stock, and then for $3,500 you can get the what do you call it? It's the film stock and developing. You get the
Right.
developing.
Yeah. You have to go
Yeah.
to, yeah, a film camera or something
Right,
like
right,
that. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
You double it, right? And I said,
Yeah.
so you can get 90 minutes worth of footage, and then you'll have your full feature. And he said, it can never be done. And then he went and did it
Hmm.
using my entire mode, my entire plan. And then he wrote a book about how he came up with the idea to shoot this film El Mariachi. And then here's the here, but
Welcome to Hollywood.
yeah, here's the straw that broke the camel's back for me. He didn't even give me credit for making his special effects. He took the credit himself on the film.
He is dead to me. He is dead to me,
He
Joe
didn't.
Castro. He is dead to me.
He didn't give me credit for making him the fake head or the arm and giving it to him for free or none of that. And he stole the idea, stole the special effects, took all the credit himself, and didn't give me any credit at all. Yeah.
See, now this is what I tell people when you're in Hollywood, don't be an asshole. This is part of the reason why I left Hollywood because there's too many of those stories
Yeah.
where it's like somebody's getting stabbed so hard in the back they don't realize their face is across the street.
Yeah. In fact, you remember on AFI? AFI had has had a cable channel. AFI, do they still
Yeah,
have a cable channel?
yeah,
AFI.
yeah,
They used to do like a Entertainment Tonight, like a 30-minute Entertainment Tonight every night on
yeah.
AFI. They got wind that this story of this thing. I don't know how they got wind of it. And they called my mom's house in Texas and they asked for me. And they said, "Hey Joe, we heard that you came up with the original skeleton of how to shoot El Mariachi for $7,500. And we want to do a sit down with you and Robert Rodriguez. Would you be willing to do
Whoa.
it?" And I said yes, and Robert refused to do it.
Of course he could, because then he'd have to be busted.
Yeah, he'd be busted for the whole bit. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like going on Maury. This is your baby.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
We know
Exactly.
whose baby it really was. Now
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
you have effects there at the house with you.
I have a couple of
Let's
things here.
let's look at some of the let's look at some of your
I
work
just
so
oh
everybody can
just
admire the skills that, in which people like Robert
let me see.
was. Oh my God, that's
There's
gorgeous.
there's a head. There's a fake head right there.
And it's got my red hair.
Uh,
That's nice.
and then let's see. I mean, I have all kinds of little stuff here. I got what's
I
one of
love
these?
show and tell.
Let
What
me
was that
see.
from? Do you remember?
That was from a new movie called The Sunset Strip Killers, and it's a girl that gets decapitated. This thing right here.
Oh,
Oh,
oh, there we go.
she got a broken neck.
I was gonna say she
And
oh,
you can
nice,
twist her whole head all
nice.
completely right. Yeah.
Wow, take that. Oh yeah, that's really good with the
So that's where she gets her neck broken.
oh, that's beautiful. That looks like a hanging neck. I've seen a few of those in my days in the effects. That's beautiful. I
Thank
love
you.
stuff like that.
Wait.
Do you still use molds, or do you actually imprint on people's faces? I had my face done. I got my face done, and I had a statue made of my head, and it got stolen out of the piece that it was being used in, which
Oh,
I thought was hilarious. Somebody in this world has my head.
that's good. There are a lot of people that use like I guess they excuse me do 3D scans now and stuff like that. I think it loses a little bit of the natural
You
kind
don't
of
get the hair. I used to
all the
love
little
getting the hair pieces,
all the
little
little
eyebrows that get
imperfections.
stuck in the
Yeah,
mask
just
and
all the
stuff.
little imperfections that make up a human face, because you still have to do some sort of correction and whatnot when you do a 3D scan. So I'd like to use straight up right from the mold. They have all kinds of different ways to do it
Oh,
now, but
that's so
they,
cool.
they used to make faces out of an alginate life cast,
Mhm.
which is like now they do silicone, and then they have like separators so you can pour silicone into silicone, which is what I really like to do now.
Oh, I haven't
And
even tried that yet. That sounds
that's
fun.
like yeah, because it picks up all the detail and you get more working time to do it, and it's amazing. And then of course you have the 3D scans that you can then,
Yeah,
but
and you
I
get
mean,
somebody like Robert Davi or somebody with James Edward Olmos who had these pock marks in their face. If you
yeah,
get something like that, you want that. You want
you
that
want, yeah,
texture that's you can't get from a 3D
right,
AI thing.
right,
So
exactly,
cool.
exactly, yeah.
So you get I'm so sorry about that Rodrigo story, but he's dead to me. So um so you're in Hollywood, you're doing these little films with, how did you get your first big break? What was that?
Well, I think my first like real screen credit was a movie. It's kind of a cult, like a cult film now. It's called Evil Tunes, and it was directed by Fred Olen Ray. And
Brink
yeah, I was
Stevens is in
yeah,
that,
that's right.
who I adore.
Well, she's not in it. She's not in this one.
Oh yeah, she's in the later ones. Yeah.
She was in the Teenage Exorcist, and of
Yeah.
course she's one real close friend. But she, when I won the trip to Hollywood and I won the special effects makeup contest as a 15-year-old, they flew me out to LA, and I got to meet all these amazing people. I got to meet, let's see, John Carl Buechler. I got to go to the set of Inner Space when they were shooting Inner Space with Joe Dante, and I got to sit in his director chair on set, and I got to
I would have
meet.
been fangirl in the
Yeah,
crazy there.
I got to meet Robert Picardo,
Robert Picardo, yeah.
yeah, Robert Picardo, and he's like autographed my Fangoria magazine with with
And that was
Gizmo or
before
whatever.
Star Trek.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and oh,
Oh,
that's
what
the
was that
one.
movie? He was so good that he plays the devil and they're answering the phone. What the heck was that one? Okay.
Which I don't remember that one. What is it?
Oh,
What,
he's basically it's a phone number. People call in and
is
he's
it not?
actually
No, 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 no. You're thinking of Stephen Jeffries, 976 Evil.
no. I know that one, but this is a different one. He there's it's like it looks like I was gonna say a sex phone operator place, but that's what it looks like. The phone sex operator place where there's 5 or 6 cubicles and these people are calling in and he's actually guiding people to their own deaths. It's really cool.
Oh
And it
wow,
was
I gotta look that one up.
yeah.
I haven't seen
I'll
that
hunt
one.
it down and send you the link to. It's on
Sounds
Tubi this week.
sounds super cheesy. Super
Yeah,
cheese.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, super cheese. Like Death Spa. I didn't know how amazing that movie was until I saw it. I saw the new theatrical release of it recently here in LA. That's one of the great things about like Revival House theaters. You get to see all that old stuff that was shot on film, in a
Do
big
they still
movie.
have the new art there?
Yes, they do. Yeah,
See, I used to
sure.
watch all the good time, old timey movies there. I love
Yeah,
that
yeah,
place.
yeah, yeah. One time we saw like an old print of the original Wolfman from Universal, like on a Sunday afternoon, and I said I was talking in the theater, and someone behind me shushed me. Shh, you I cannot talk in the theater while there's like this is like a Sunday matinee. I got shushed. Yeah. Classic film, because anybody in that theater was like in their like late
It's
60s.
Lon Chaney
Yes,
Jr.
exactly. Shushed.
I had his poster on the back of my wall when I was a little girl.
Uh, yeah,
Everybody else had Leif Garrett and the Bay City Rollers, and I'm sitting there
yeah,
going, I get Lon Chaney and
yeah,
Vincent Price.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
too cool.
Are we
Oh,
talking about
the big break.
LA? The big break, yeah. So
Yeah.
so Brink introduced me to Fred Olen Ray. I think that's how I got kind of in the door, because I met Brink when I came out here to when I came out here to visit Los Angeles, and I made a little group of friends. But my real first gig was the one that people remember, I think, and you might remember, is do you ever watch Roseanne, the original television
I
show?
was going to ask you about that. This is good.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So
Roseanne Barr, who I
yeah.
worked with many times at the Improv in Santa Monica back when they had one there. Yeah.
So I made John Goodman's Halloween costume for one of the episodes, for the Halloween episode. I think it
Was
was
that
like
the one with the knife in his head one?
no, it was the one where he was the Three Stooges.
Oh, was
Yeah,
great. That was
yeah, yeah,
really
yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I had a
That was
chance to do that.
really good.
That was my first. The people over at Carsey Warner called my friend Jim Keegan, and Jim said, "Hey Joe, you wanted to work on a little gig?" And I said, "What?" He goes, "Roseanne, the TV series." And I said, "What are we going to do?" He said, "We have to make the curly and Mo heads to go and to be on the shoulders for a costume." I said, "Well, when does it have to be done?" He said, "Tomorrow."
No, no pressure.
She
No
said
pressure.
tomorrow. It has to be done tomorrow. We have to turn it in tomorrow. They're shooting it tomorrow. And I said, okay. And but it was good money and it was fast and it was that was my first kind of big like my
That's
big
huge. I saw
yeah
that on your list of credits and I thought
yeah
this is going to be a story.
yeah yeah.
I figured it had to be a Halloween episode because I'm like, what did they do besides eating pulled pork? I don't know.
Well, it's like I mean, a lot of I've had a very I mean I've worked on some big films, but I think all the
You worked
really
on a
cool
Harry Potter.
Yeah, I worked on a Harry Potter, but I don't really brag about that. I don't. That's not like my thing. I think I like all the little quirky little things like the Roseanne stuff that it makes me that I'm real proud of, like that. That gig. I worked on like the very first season of the Power Rangers.
Yes, I was wondering about that too.
Everybody loves the Power Rangers, and
Sure.
we
My niece and nephew grew up on them. They were like,
yeah.
oh, they actually studied. I'm trying to think of the martial art they studied, but they studied with one of the Power Rangers. It was
Oh,
pretty cool.
one of his what was it like when you say study you mean like karate moves and stuff or
Yeah,
what?
they
Yeah.
took karate classes from this guy, and they had they did their katai classes, and all
Okay.
their yeah.
Yeah. There's a I just worked with one of the Red Rangers in a movie called Unarmed. Yeah, and he came in and he's a cool guy. So
That's so fun.
yeah. So
That's
all that quirky stuff, like that. That's kind of more cultish. I really appreciate, like the El Mariachi story. Even though I'm not credited in it, there's a couple people that know the truth
it
because
is still a big deal.
yeah, and then the Power Rangers and then the Roseanne thing are my first kind of big things, along with Evil Tunes, I would say. Yeah.
Evil Tunes is one of my favorite series, and also Wishmaster, which is one of I would love to get what's his face from Wishmaster on the show, but I don't know
Andrew,
who.
Andrew.
Yes, I don't know how I'm gonna have to rope him in. Maybe make him cookies. I don't know. So, but there's so that is one of my favorite series of all time. That and I also like Leprechaun and Troll. I just love that series. Oh, and Puppet Master. I love that one too. Just because there's so many effects that people don't even notice that are in there. Like, oh, that was really cool. Did you check that out?
Yeah,
The
practical.
background's amazing. What
Yeah,
did you do for those? What was your things in
Oh,
those?
for the Wishmaster series, I worked on the third and fourth installment of the films. And there was a team of like six or eight of us, and we built like they call them the baby djinns, which are these three suits of they were djinns, they were evil djinns, but they were
Yes.
spawn, I guess. I don't remember the actual story of how they came to be. They were in hell, I think, or something. Gates of Hell is what it was called. Anyways, we built these three suits of these other gens. There were these evil gens, and there was a team of us. We sculpted chest pieces and stomachs and horns and rib cages and legs, and then I had to fabricate all the pieces and put them together on suits because they weren't custom fit to any one particular actor.
Oh,
Because
so you had to actually just place them and
well,
kind of squish them in.
we had to build suits that could be resized on set onto
Wow.
wherever they were going to put them in. So we had to make up so there were areas that could be cinched or let out if necessary. Like
Did you
throughout the
use
head.
rubber sponge material or how did you do that?
We used spandex suits, but the pieces didn't meet. I left like 1 inch spaces in between the pieces so they could be
Mm.
tucked and sewed and pinned and whatever, tightened in the back and this kind of thing. The movies were shot in Canada and the effects were built in LA and
They
they
had to
really
be travel friendly.
well, yeah, well, I know that the cast was put together kind of last minute on those two films because
Mhm.
Andrew's not involved in them, and I remember that the key Jin suit was built on his original form that was made for him, I
Right.
guess they didn't cut the deal in time, or they didn't get him. So his all of his pieces had to then be migrated to some
Because he's a
migrated to
lean fella, so that must have been
yeah
awkward for somebody who had to
my,
pull a bigger
my,
size on that.
yes, migrated to somebody else for that.
Oh,
So and I think there's some bad blood there between the producers and Andrew about that. I know nothing about. I'm not involved in.
yeah, I stay out of the
I'm
politics of the
just
films.
just a team player over here in the effect shot. I had nothing to do
I
with
like
that.
my check. I like my job.
Yeah, I had nothing to do with that. But so
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
that
hard.
that's
Politics are really weird in Hollywood. I try to stay as far away from that stuff as possible.
yeah.
But what are some of the films that you really loved working on?
Let's see here. What did I really love working on? Well, probably one of the most career-changing films I worked on was a movie called Blood Feast 2. And while it's not liked by everyone, it's directed by the man that invented the slasher splatter cinema
That's
genre.
one of the bloodiest films, and isn't that the Guinness Book one?
No, no, no. This was a movie that was the sequel to the original slasher movie that was made in 1963, and it was
Okay.
directed by Herschel Gordon Lewis. And he made a movie in 1963 called Blood Feast, and it was considered pornography at the time, even though there was no sex in the film,
Yeah, they were going to
because
give it an X rating before there was an X rating. Yeah.
only because of the blood, of the amount of blood in the film was considered obscene by
Hmm.
the United States government. So, in order for him to get his movie to the audience, he was the first person to exploit blood in motion pictures. Before
Yes.
that, it was never really exploited, especially not with nudity. And there's nudity in his film, and so he had blood and nudity. And he would take his movie around to the different porno houses across the country,
It's the
and
only
he
way
would,
they can get them
yeah,
to be
the
seen.
only way he could get it to be seen. But it was a big cult hit, and from that film spawned all the slasher movies that we love today. You get,
Yeah.
Friday the 13th, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. All these slasher movies came from
My Bloody Valentine. Yeah.
Herschel's original formula. So
Yeah.
back in 2001, someone hired him to direct the sequel. Some producers decided they were going to do the sequel, Blood Feast 2, and the task of creating all the effects fell into my lap, magically, and so I got to meet and work with Herschel Gordon Lewis in Blood Feast 2, and that was a
That's
very
amazing.
very life-changing career move. And while a lot of people don't know who he is or know what he did for the industry, if you don't, your education in the world of horror is completely incomplete. I mean,
And now you've added to the
yeah,
education of our fans here,
yeah,
which is
yeah, yeah.
brilliant.
He directed a movie called Blood Feast, The Gruesome Twosome, The Wizard of Gore, and 2000 Maniacs. So I think are like big top four films. Also, a
Yeah.
movie called The Gore Girls. So if you get a chance to watch any of those films, when you watch them, you'll be like, "Oh, this is really cliche and typical."
Yeah. But when
And it's
he
only
did it, not so much.
well, yeah, you'll say that when you watch it, and then you realize, oh, this was the very first one ever. This is where it all came from, and
Yep.
you'll be able to see the original purest form of slasher splatter cinema from Herschel. So yeah, I'm super proud of that one right there.
That's
Yeah,
so cool. The directors you get to work with, it really makes a difference. I appreciate good storytelling. I'm meeting a lot of directors right now that are very new and independent filmmakers. Like we just chatted previous week to this one with Sarah Tomko and her husband TJ Pedersen, who have a company called In the Pocket Productions, and they're doing horror too, but unlike anything I've ever seen before. And
nice.
it's so exciting when you see the independent directors doing stuff that just make you go the whole time. They're like that. So I'm really excited about our Halloween month because we're going to have so many cool people. Um, do you have your own production house, or how do you get your work out there? Or could people just tap into you and say you're the guy?
Yeah, well, but so I'm an easy find on social media. Basically it's
And your
and
website's
yeah.
really easy because it's
Yeah,
Joe Castro FX.
JoeCastroFX.com. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm an easy find. I work right here in the studio. I have a studio in the backyard. My husband, who is my co-producer when we make movies, he gave me the full garage as my studio. We've been here for 16 years, and
Aw.
yeah, it works very well. But I work with a lot of independent people here all over the United States. But here in Los Angeles, I just want to give a shout out to you were to go back to your original question about who I'm most proud of working for. Chad Farron is a director. I think I've made like nine, eight, nine features with him now, and he's a super talented man. If you haven't heard of him, his name is Chad Farron, and you can find almost all of his movies on Tubi or Amazon Prime.
I live on
And
Tubi. Yeah.
and he's a master of like true crime slasher films. He's got a movie out called Pig Killer. He's got another one out called Ed Kemper that's on Tubi
And
right
the
now.
posters even for those films are
Yeah.
great because they
Uh,
feature your work.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when I grew up, all I wanted to do was have my work on movie posters, and now I get to, you know, you get to see that and live that. So
Pig
it's
Killers is fun.
Pig Killers. But Ed Kemper is out right now, which is the movie I'm probably the most proud of, and I have a cameo in the film as well as doing all the effects. And if you're not familiar with Ed Kemper, he was a really horrific serial killer here in California, in Northern California, and he murdered all these young women on a college campus up north above San Francisco.
Yeah,
So check it out if you haven't seen it. And if you like true crime, slasher films, special effects, you will love Ed Kemper. And you know, there's a lot more movies coming out from Chad. Chad's getting ready. Just shot The Sunset Strip Killers, and there's a movie called Dorothea about like this granny that murdered
oh,
all
the one
these
in
people. And like,
Sacramento.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He directed that one. It's coming out Halloween. Comes out theatrically Halloween this year.
Wow,
And it's a great Halloween film, and I get a cameo in that one as well as all the effects. And I mean, I'm trying to branch out into acting too. So if you have any viewers out there that are making independent films and they need some good special effects and they need a seasoned actor to be in it, you know, reach out to me on social media. I'm an easy find. Okay. Yeah,
that's excellent. So, but you've also created films.
I have directed. I've directed
Let's hear
19.
about your films.
I've directed 19 features over the years, and but the one I'm probably the most successful or the most cult has the biggest cult following. It's a movie titled Terror Tunes, and it's spelled terror and then the word tunes like cartoons,
Yeah,
Toons.
Toons.
And yes, and when you Siri it, it spells it Tunes. It's like a curse. Terror Tunes, and it's like, oh, gotta correct that. Terror Tunes. Anyways, uh, but it's Terror Tunes, and we have three sequels. The original was shot in 2001. We made a movie for $2,300, and it became a huge cult hit. And you know, when it was released with every blockbuster and Hollywood video in America, it sat like right on the shelf next to Pirates of the Caribbean.
Blockbuster's a video store, gang. Back in
Yeah,
the old days, we used to walk to stores on our dates and pick
yeah,
out things to watch.
yeah. It was a fun time. It was a fun time looking
It
at all the
was.
movie posters in the box, and everybody was there. And it was like it was a different social experiment, wasn't it?
And
Did you experience?
these films are special too because they are not only live action, but they have cartoons in them.
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of animation, a little bit of it's live action, but the gem about the film is the fact we made the entire movie in 3 days for $2,300. And
That's
most people would say, how is that possible?
yeah.
And the truth is, back in the day, like in the 50s, when they had drive-ins, they needed content. They couldn't make content fast enough to throw up on the screen, and they would shoot movies in 3 days back then. And they would shoot this 1-to-1 shooting ratio that I'm talking about. So this concept of shooting a film I had learned from these old films that I then shared with Robert to do. And you see how all that kind of, you know, see how that.
Yep.
Anyways,
More proof that you have the history behind you. Yeah.
so I was like, what, we can make a movie in 3 days. You know, we can shoot it for a third of what Robert shot it for.
Yeah.
And anyways, and that's what we did. You know, we made the original Terror Tunes. And it has got a nice fan following, and it still entertains viewers all over the world. And we're on our fourth sequel right now. We're getting ready to we're absolutely going to do part five in the
Yay.
future.
I'm
So
so excited for you.
and you can see
I'm
part four.
excited as a fangirl for those films because as an animator, I went to Cal Arts for animation. So I was like, I'm gonna be on the next Star Wars or whatever. But I'm like, oh, I wanted something like that. That was fun.
Well, I can't take credit for any of the animation. I actually had a friend of mine that worked over at Disney that did all of our backgrounds for us for, you know, pennies on the dollar. And then
I was
my
gonna say, how do you
husband,
do an animation in 3 days? I mean, come on.
and no, that was in post. It took us 11 months to put it together in post,
Okay.
but to actually shoot the film, it was only 3 days. And then my husband taught himself After Effects. This was 2001, you know, 25 years ago before, you know, it was a household name. And he taught himself how to use After Effects, and he did all the effects in the film in the
How did
original
you
one.
two meet?
We met in an edit bay working on a film in San Antonio, Texas, you know,
Oh,
and that was 27 years ago. So
Oh,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
oh man, that's so cool. That's like half your life, more than
yeah.
half your life. That's
It's, you know,
amazing.
chasing the same dream together. That's how we met.
That's so sweet. I love stories like that. I love it. My husband and I share a home where half the house is an animation, audio, film studio, and
Wonderful.
music studio for me, and the other
Mm.
half is bicycles and 3D printing and computer geek stuff and making retro games for him.
Oh, wonderful.
And then we
Amazing.
share the dogs.
That's
So,
you shared you shared the same dream is what it is. Yeah.
yes,
That's
yes.
exactly how it works. I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Beautiful.
absolutely perfect. We have a house that's nothing. It's not a house. It's a studio. We just call
It's
it just,
it's it's a playroom.
yeah,
It's a big
exactly,
playroom. It's a big playroom. It's
exactly. No
everything we
swimming
love.
pool, but
Yeah.
yay.
Yeah. It's a big playroom. Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Yeah.
It's so cool. I
Yeah.
love stories like that. I love that. I love that, when you're creative and you have somebody on your side being creative is
Mm.
so much better.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
So just so much better. Um, if you could give a handful or a tip or a handshake to a youngster who might be 20, 21, just figuring out what maybe they're in college, they don't know what they want to do.
Mm.
What would
Mhm.
you give them if like film would set their radars off?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good question. What advice would I give a young person who wants to break out into the arts, maybe, or someone who's
Yeah.
thinking about it? I would say do it now. Do start right now and just start. Don't talk yourself out of doing the next right thing because our brains will do that all the time.
Oh yeah.
And and like, I grew up in a time and in a place when no one told me you can't do it like that, because there weren't many people. Today you have everybody judging your work online and this and that, but ultimately you have to want to do it. And you got to, and if you're going to start now because it's taking me, I'm in my 43rd year working in the business basically, and it's taking me this long just to get comfortable with myself in my own work. So, you'll never be comfortable. Just keep going.
I'm going to tell
And
every child in America that once you hit 50, the fucks disappear. You
yeah, yeah,
give zero
that's
of them.
yeah, yeah, that's right. That's right. That's
So,
right. Yeah,
but
it takes a while.
seriously, that's
Yeah.
huge. I mean, that's a real big deal. And the not judgment thing. Everybody's got this voice in their back of head, like their mom. You're supposed to be this. You're supposed to turn the
Yeah.
supposed tos off.
Yeah. Yeah, I learned like 10 years ago, like when I realized that maybe my own personal family wasn't going to be in my life anymore, that they weren't ever going to be there to begin with at the end. People forget that conversation. They need to have like they're not going to be there for you at the end anyways. You
Yeah,
know, and they're not going to be paying your bills, holding your hand, chasing your dreams. They're not going to do that stuff. They're not.
you're
That's
the
not what they're
only
there
you
for.
you
Yeah,
got.
you got to do. You got to start now, remain teachable, and get to work. You got to get to
Yes,
work. You got to get to work. You're looking at people online who are being successful, and don't be jealous.
yeah,
There's probably like eons of dedication and devotion into their career in order for them to get to where they're at. Don't be jealous.
exactly.
Understand that
Stand-up
it's
comedy is the same thing. I did
absolutely.
stand-up for 44 years, and I'm still
Mm-hmm.
dealing with first open micers or somebody who's never
Yeah,
heard of me before because I
yeah,
was big in the 80s. That doesn't mean crap today.
yeah.
So totally get it.
I have some friends I have really close friends that work in comedy. I have really close friends, and they're like some of my most favorite people in the whole wide world.
Ah,
Yeah. If I ever want to, if I ever want to pull up something, if I ever want to change my mood, I pull up my friend. I have a really close friend. His name is Dustin Ibarra, and he's a hilarious comedian. I'm gonna text you. I'm gonna text you one of his videos.
oh,
He does
cool.
he does this joke about buying a suppository that you're gonna laugh.
I
Okay,
laughed my ass off.
yeah, you laugh, you laugh. I mean, I don't know what your
I'm
political
more blues than
affiliation is.
not, so let's just leave it there.
He went I saw him perform at a benefit,
Uh,
and there was the front row. He's Hispanic male, and the front row was like all these there was all these Trump supporters in the front row, just in the front row, right? And he comes up, and I saw this one guy go, yeah, I'm not gonna laugh at this guy. And
oh yeah, that's like a
he
dare.
had,
Go ahead,
yeah,
make
yeah,
me
yeah.
laugh. Go
He
ahead.
had he had the guy laughing so hard with this joke that the guy had to put his head between his legs. He nearly pissed on himself. He was laughing with his head between his legs. That's how
Love
talented
that. I
how
love
talented this
stories like that.
young man is. So, yeah, yeah. And every time he calls me and we talk, if he's down or whatever, I always remind him how he made that guy laugh so damn hard. And
It's like if
you
you
really
can
had to
make
put, yeah,
if you can
you
make
gotta,
one of those guys laugh,
yeah,
you've done good for yourself.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Last question for the show today, and
Sure.
this is my last question for everybody the last few months is What are your views on AI and effects?
That's a great question. Well, I'm gonna be straight up honest with you. I love AI. I think that we should lean into it as a beautiful new tool. I think that every, I went from doing practical effects, and then I taught then I went to school and I learned digital effects, and now we're entering the world of AI effects, and it's just another tool. It's like another flavor of Asian food. It's like, you have Tex-Mex, and then you have Guatemalan food, and then you have South American food. It's just a never-ending, cornucopia of visual delights. Just move
So
forward.
people are using it as a tool. It's wonderful. If they
It's a
use it to
tool.
replace the people doing the
Yeah,
stuff, it
yeah.
kind of
No,
breaks my heart.
it's just a tool. It's just another tool. I mean, I
Yeah.
remember back in like the mid 90s. Oh, digital effects, VFX is going to take over the world, and we're never going to have practical effects again. And now the practical effects have come full circle, and now that's all we want are practical effects in our
Yep.
slasher films. We don't want any digital over there. Okay,
Yep.
that's cool. Our Superman movies over here, we want digital, we want AI. Okay, that's fine. You can have that over there. Everybody has their own flavor. It's okay. It's okay. Relax. Use it, lean into it, and I'm super excited for it. In fact, I'm working on a project right now, and we're using practical VFX, AI, basic homegrown editing, lighting. We're using everything. You just
That's so
put it up,
cool.
pull it all in there, and just make the thing that you want. Make a film that you want to see.
That's so cool. Well,
Yeah.
Joe Castro, it has been my honor to talk to you for the last hour or so on Our Ish on the anti-social horror-ish show for October. I would like to invite you back anytime you would like to talk about your next project, which we didn't talk about now, but we will talk about later when it comes out. Anytime you want to come back, you just let me know. And America, next week we are going to have. Oh, I can't remember who we're having next week. Okay, well, I won't tell you who we're going to have. It's a surprise. But be sure to check in next week. And thank you so much for coming out to the Antisocial Hour Horror Show. And Joe Castro FX, we will put all his links down below. Do check out his site because it is pretty damn cool.
Thank you
Thanks.
so much. Bye, Antisocial.
Bye, Joel.